Hello, my friends in Astroladaland. I am Kesenya, your reader here at Astrolada, here with the Astro Weather Watch for this week. And we are looking at the weather from the 22nd through to the 29th of June here. And we're going to start, we've just left solstice behind the day before this energy kicks in. And we're going to start with the 23rd of June. There's a sun square to Saturn. And of course, I'm using the dates that are relevant here on the east coast of Australia. You might like to do a Google search and see when these energies are forming in your part of the world, wherever you live. But the sun is square to Saturn at 1 degree of the cardinal signs on the 23rd of June. Are you feeling a bit constricted, my friends, on this day? You feel like you could squish your confidence into a matchbox? I know, it's a really sucky energy, this one, but it will pass, just like all energies eventually do. They ebb and flow and come and go. So let yourself feel a little bit lackluster on this day, and if you need to sleep it off, then by all means do so. Maybe you're experiencing a bit of a lack of support in your life, and maybe what you could do is just reach for those flannelette pajamas or that block of chocolate and the old teddy to cuddle and put on that great film that you absolutely love and just let the energy roll on by. If you feel like the waiting will never end, then stretch out on the lawn and soak up some rays of the sun if the weather permits where you are in the world. Essentially, what I'm saying here is there is no point in fighting this heavy energy, and the only way to dance with the Saturn Sun square is to practice acceptance, practice patience, practice stoicism. Endurance is the name of the game, my friends, so find your best way to do so and just be present in the endurance. And before you know it, it's done and dusted for another 6 months. Also on the 23rd of June, we have the Sun squaring Neptune, because remember, Saturn and Neptune are currently in a virtual conjunction. Well, do you dig spirituality? Do you get a boost of joy from being creative? Then if you do, you can actually work with the Sun square Neptune to the best of your advantage. But for many, this is a difficult energy that can see us losing our usual vitality and craving another nana nap. Although really, what's wrong with that every now and again? The real energy to be aware of is the potential to be deceived, and deceived from sun figures in our lives. A male authority figure or a kingly type figure, somebody in a position of authority. And that can be one of the outworkings of this energy. Also, maybe we feel a bit absent-minded. That gives us the Homer Simpson dose, where we're frustrated at something because we've been absent-minded. Maybe we need to escape from the bluntness of modern life in some way. And that could see us running to some rather extreme Neptunian practices in order to detach. Too much drink, too much food, too much drugs, too much sex, too much exercise, too much social media. And that leaves us feeling more depleted. So what do we do? Well, we can take that nana nap, as I've already suggested multiple times in this reading, or we can escape into some form of loveliness and delight and peace, a walk in nature, a great film that we love, reading a beautiful book that uplifts our spirits. These are just some of the suggestions. You can apply however you feel that it would work best for you. Then on the 24th of June, OMG, what a doozy, we have the new moon in Cancer at 4 degrees of Cancer. I've just done a video on the breakdown for all signs for this one. It is huge. It is going to be conjunct the fixed star Merzims. It's going to be in the Ardra Nakshatra. The moon will be out of bounds. It is conjunct with Jupiter. It is square to Saturn, square to Neptune, and the new moon forms a yod with Mars and Pluto. Deep breath. Oh my God. So I really feel this is quite a karmic moon, actually, because the yod formation can be a little crazy making, but it is all about karmic progress. Out there in the world in mundane astrology, it's probably not going to be a pretty picture with this energy. Just forewarned, forearmed, we're already seeing this happening in the world from other astrological formations. This is feeding into that in a not helpful way. But however, the emotionalism that this moon brings about will go to a whole new level. I'm forewarning and forearming you. So practice balance, practice self-kindness, practice gentleness and patience with yourself and with everybody you encounter around you. Now, the themes with this moon are that there might be some new beginnings in your private life and for wherever Cancer is in your natal chart. There might be some people who are inspired to move house under this new moon energy. For many others, it might be time to reconnect with your family. For most of us, it is an essential time to nurture ourselves and review our goals. And as for people in our life, we can allow them to get close to us. We can sort of pull back those walls or those boundaries that are keeping people away, drop our defenses, and connect with others. The moon's very at home in the sign of Cancer, which it rules. And so within us, and with Jupiter there as well, we might find that there's a confidence that things will be ultimately resolved for the best regarding any pertinent issues in our life. Let's, fingers and toes crossed, hope that that is exactly what happens, that our emotional status, that confidence is actually reflected in our experiences and in the world around us. On the 25th of June, we've also got the Sun making a conjunction with Jupiter. All three are in interplay there. And this is a happy, happy, joy, joy energy, Sun and Jupiter conjunction. It's the luckiest transit of the year to have the Sun with Jupiter, but also Moon as well is a very auspicious thing when it's with Jupiter. And we can really dig into our gratitude on this day. We might feel, as I've just described, feel more optimistic and joyful and lucky. And it's a good day for giving compliments, a good day for giving gifts and trying to uplift everybody around us and bless everybody around us as best we can. Then on the 27th, we have Mercury moving into the sign of Leo. Words are going to take on some significant authority during Mercury's transit of Leo. And if we're paying attention now, we're going to feel the impact of people in our lives through the words that they speak. That will have much more oomph than it usually does. Be conscious, however, the words that we say during this transit, no matter how well-intentioned, can come across as arrogant if we don't consider them first, if we don't wait and evaluate what we're saying first, okay? So a bit of forethought is a good thing. However, the more likely scenario is that we actually will have the ability to win people over with our verbal warmth and our verbal flair while Mercury is in Leo. Creativity is going to peak and ideas are just going to flow. Our intellect will be shining. What's not to love? Mercury in Leo, fantastic. Then on June the 28th, Mercury will trine Saturn and then it will trine Neptune. So what does that mean? Firstly, with Saturn, our thinking gets serious. If you have projects that require focus and concentration, then you're in the right space for it on the 28th. But things like taxes, contracts, buying and selling, and big decision making are all worth addressing with this energy of trinal support from Mercury to Saturn. Anything requiring a formal commitment will last the long term if it's undertaken on the 28th, and Mercury, the planet of sociability, will let us create friendships that will similarly be both serious, mature, and long-lasting. Saturn's wisdom and mastery is also available to us, so you might even develop important connections with your elders and wisdom keepers on the 28th. The trine to Neptune, which is happening on the 28th as well by Mercury, it's going to bring about that feeling of like I'm in the zone, I'm in my zen, where the creative juices are flowing and we're moving through life in that dreamy fashion. There's music on every street corner and the messages from spirit are just coming through thick and fast. Don't you just love those sorts of days? Well, that's the 28th of June. That's a blessing after the new moon, that's for sure. Creative projects can again flourish with this combination of energies. Spiritual endeavors will blossom like the apple trees in spring, and your imagination can sprout new ideas in the soil of a very happy mental space. Enjoy, dance, and be blessed, my friends. And finally, on the 29th of June, we've got Mercury opposite to Pluto. Now, this winds up the week with a bit of a kicker. So, sigh. You might need to brace yourself for this one. You know, competition could amp up in advertising and marketing sectors. Administration undertakings feel intense and overwhelming. Propaganda is extreme, perhaps, under this influence as well. Do you work in a mercurial field, in trade, in buying, in selling, in insurance or general business, accountancy, administration, journalism, writing, public speaking, facilitation or general teaching? If you're in any of those mercurial areas, then don't be surprised if you see Plutonian manipulation and power struggles and underhanded tactics in your workplace, okay? Forewarned, forearmed. If you work in Plutonian fields, the impact can also be there. Psychology, grief counseling, funeral homes, waste management, shamanic or past life regression practitioners, spies, criminologists and criminals. If you work in the renovation industry, or if you work with archaeology, they're just a few of Plutonian industries, then get ready to encounter some trouble with any contracts, any communications, any technical services, and general communication misunderstandings because of this opposition from Pluto to Mercury. Well, it's a day of being forewarned and forearmed. And now that we've wrapped the entire week up, I hope it's a good one for you, my friends. Check out my services at AstroLada through the link in the description below. And thank you for being here for my videos each week. I love you all. Be blessed.